Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on three different series coming out. First up is Andor Season 2, the only Star Trek series or a Star Wars series that seems to have any traction. Then there's a new series with Tom Hardy, Pierce Bronson, Helen Mirren called Mobland. And then there's Kevin Bacon in something that's very close and near to my heart about, it's called The Bondsman, about a guy who tracks down demons from hell. Smash a like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. Speaking of hunting devils, it's the Pineys, books 1 through 17, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Okay. So first up is Andor Season 2, or as I call it, Communist Star Wars, because it's about a revolution. And they even play a song about revolution. He kind of looks like Forrest Whitaker, but I don't think that's him. Maybe with a lot of makeup, but they tout this thing as, you know, some of the Star Wars fans like it. I wouldn't watch it. It has the same problems that Star Wars continues to have. It doesn't really have a politics, an economy, a background that makes any kind of sense unless you map out what existed prior to the Empire. Ah! A lot of screaming. It just feels like a lot of the highlights of what would be a rebellion. And this has always been the problem with Star Wars. In a 2-hour movie, in the first movie, the implication was and I'm talking the very first OG Star Wars movie. The implication was that the Empire had already crushed the Republic and whatever government was prior to the events of the movie, right? And that's easy to gloss over because then you don't have to map out what the Republic was and why it was corrupt and why the Empire rose and all that nonsense. You could just imply, you could just picture in your mind's eye what that was. And really, it's an analogy for bad guys from Germany. And because keep in mind, this came out in the 70s, about 35 years after the events of the Big War, right? Darth Vader's helmet, very much like the bad guys from Germany helmet. So you didn't need to map out what happened in that movie. You could just imply, oh yeah, you know, a totalitarian regime came in and took over what was once very good. But you don't have to map out the good. You could just imply what it was and go from there. But as you keep doing more and more Star Wars, you need to map out what all that stuff was and why it fell apart, why the Empire even rose to begin with. Now, they have some of that, right? They have some of that, and they mapped it out in the prequels for what that's worth. But for my money, that wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. It wasn't... It was something that if I was advising Lucas at that time, I would have said, don't do this. Because you're essentially interfering what people thought about the past, right? And if you can't make it pay off, if you can't really make it as good as what came after, then all you're doing is tarnishing what went before. But in the order of the movies, technically what went after. So I'll give you an example. What I do with the Pineys is I often flash back into the past to look at some of the other Galloway relatives through time. But I don't show you everything, because showing you everything eventually would paint me into a corner and make me either show you things that wouldn't be as awesome, or, again, it would disrupt what you already have in mind. The idea is to create the illusion that there was all these things before, so that it further validates what happens in the narrative after. The problem with Andor is it's more of like, here's what happened. And it's never going to be as good. It's just never going to be as good. Um, unless you went into a crazy new bold direction and really mapped out an interesting system of government and economy and stuff for the characters to play within. And I'm not seeing that here in the trailer. Now, I didn't watch it, so maybe some of you out there go, oh, no, it's super complex, man. Oh, there's this faction and that faction and this faction. Maybe, but it's only a series on Disney Plus. I don't think they would bother. It's not the point of the show. The point is to get people to watch, number one, and to get people excited. You need action and whatnot. So it's really a tough task, because part of the problem with the prequels when they first came out was, God, there's a lot of boring Senate scenes, and that shouldn't have happened. Could there be a way to rewrite that? Yeah, you could have focused on characters that weren't in the Senate that had to do something, get some sort of MacGuffin, and then behind, at the edges of that movie, you would hear what was going on in the Senate. And maybe you cut to it once in a while. But this is like, again, showing the revolution as it blossoms on a planet or several planets. Again, I didn't watch the show. The trailer is pushing the revolution. Yeah, you could do that. But no normies tuning into this are going to get it, in my view. Maybe if you were super consistent with the Empire in some way, but that almost requires, number one, again, a really clear outlining of what the Empire's destroying and why, and almost, I don't know how to describe this, but the bad guys from Germany had, unfortunately, clever guys in their PR department, let's say. And they were able to entice people by their message. And you would need to show some of that. And that might be uncomfortable for the execs at Disney. Because it would mean showing a totalitarian regime in a powerful light. And so that's part of the conflict here. They want to keep showing the rebels, I think, constantly winning, but they can't constantly win. In fact, they should always lose. And it's tough. It's tough to keep, what happens in a real revolution is a lot of people die. They just keep dying. And the totalitarian regime is powerful for a reason. They just keep killing people. So, and you're talking about a world that has clones and all kinds of super technology. Yeah, I don't know if this scans. I mean, for me, it doesn't. I'm out of Star Wars. It also gets bogged down, I think, in the politics of that world. Whereas if you look at what Star Wars was, it was really an adventure within that world. The backdrop was the Empire and how it took over and stuff, and its eventual fall. You could come up with new villains other than the Empire. And I don't even mean like other guys like the Empire or gangsters or whatever. I mean completely alien world type stuff. That has really, to my mind, not been explored in Star Wars. So, for instance, an example of that in Star Trek was the Borg, right? The Borg wasn't political. They were just the Borg, and that's their deal. They just assimilate everybody in their path, and they're ruthless, and they're powerful, and that's it. That's all they do. So, a villain like that would, you know, change the paradigm of Star Wars. It wouldn't be about the Empire versus the Jedi. It would be about, survival. Now, that's a big change in a world like this. I don't know if it would work, but it would be different. So, yeah, I just can't get behind this in any way. So, I think you know where this is going to head in my rankings. Anyhow, next up is Mobland. This is Tom Hardy and Pierce Brosnan. Are you kidding me? In a mafia thing? And Helen Mirren is the wife? From Guy Ritchie? Holy F, man. It looks like more of like the Gentleman stuff, only with a much bigger budget. Tom Hardy's the hitman. Pierce Brosnan is like the big boss, and Helen Mirren's like the power behind the throne. Sure. 100% I'd watch this. Absolutely. I may just get Paramount turned on just to watch this. You got to be kidding me, man. This is like a dream team. And it takes place in England before you. They're not pretending to be Italian. I think they might even be Irish. It looks bloody, brutal, crazy, as you would expect. Now, Pierce isn't doing much these days. Helen Mirren's in like everything, and Tom Hardy's a movie star, so I'm wondering how long this series will last. It looks fantastic. Starts streaming March 30th. I got to figure out how to hook up Paramount before that. So it looks friggin' awesome. I mean, even if Guy Ritchie's not directing the damn thing. Let me see if he is. Because that would just cinch it for me. Because Guy Ritchie, he does such great work in this. Let's see. Mobland. Here it is. Showcases two generations of gangsters, their businesses, their relationships, and they weave and the man they call to fix their problems. That's Tom Hardy. All right. So, let's see, all cast and crew. Guy Ritchie directs 2 episodes. So, all right. You got me. You got me on that one. Sure. That looks friggin' fantastic. But also friggin' fantastic looks to be The Bondsman, starring Kevin Bacon. Now, this is a story they've done before. The Bondsman is an actual bondsman. He gets killed, and then he's resurrected, and the people who bring him back to life say, you now work for hell, and you have to capture demons for us. And by capturing them, they mean to shoot him in the head and send him back to hell. If he doesn't, he goes back to hell. And this is his, person from hell who assigns him the business. This is his wife. I think that's is that his actual wife? I think it might be. Resurrected bounty hunter Hub Halloran gets an unexpected second chance at life, love, and nearly forgotten musical career, only to find that his odd job now has a new demonic twist. I'm not surprised there's a... Okay, no, so it's not... I don't think that's his wife. I could have sworn I heard his wife's name in this. Let's see. I don't have any director's credits. Oh wait, here we go. Cast and crew. All right. So, it looks like there's only 5 episodes on here. So Kevin Bacon. I don't recognize any of the other names. But okay. All right. Oh no, it goes up to episode's 8. They just don't have all the credits on here. Yeah, I mean, they've done this before in a lower budget. She does look like Kara Sedgwick a little bit. You know, so he has to keep killing devils or sending demons back to hell because hell is like a prison. And so it's going to be a lot of Kevin Bacon going, what the heck is this? But then he gets to rekindle his, here's the pastor. I think this is his mom. I mean, you could see why I'm into it. Because this is kind of like the Pineys. I mean, he's even got a bit of a southern drawl going on. It's got a bit of a hillbilly vibe. So, and, you know, there's this idea that the demons, or the devils, as we call them in the Pineys, are hidden amongst us. You know, they're hidden. And so Kevin Bacon is given the power to see them, and he has to kill them for hell. Because hell is like a prison, and the demons keep escaping. Yeah, I'd be down with this. I kind of feel like, you know, with one guy as the focus, it's difficult. It's easy to push the concept, but it's difficult to make it last long term. But already in the series, he brings his son along one of the hunts. And I mean, it's cool. I'll check it out. But I don't think it can last. I feel like there's not a lot there because it's not a cast. And I also feel like the appeal of Kevin Bacon in this area is only so much. It's kind of like the Tremors crowd. Like Tremors did well. It's kind of like a cult classic. And they even made sequels, but it never exploded like it should have because it was awesome. So I'm not sure if this would explode because a lot of it centers around Kevin and the woman who gives him assignments. At least that's the vibe I get from the trailer. So, you know, maybe they could expand it and it would work in the long term. But I would totally watch it. Absolutely. Yeah, I would check it out. All right. So the ranking, obviously, I put Andor on the bottom. Mainly because I just don't trust Disney. You know, even if this show is good, I don't trust them to keep the quality up and end the season or seasons in a way that I would go, wow, what an ending. I hope they make a movie of this. Like, I just don't trust them. You know, they made The Mandalorian and everybody was raving about it, and then they kind of pulled the rug out from under the creators and tanked the whole thing, it seems to me. So even if this is good, I wouldn't trust the guys making it. And I suspect that it's just Star Wars communism, but I mean, you could tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm fine with that. I just don't want to see Star Wars. So you're not going to convince me to watch it because I don't have Disney Plus and I wouldn't give Disney my money anymore. They would have to be super based for a long, long time before I'd go, oh, let me check out something on Disney. Number 2 would be the Kevin Bacon Show. I know. You would think that would be number 1 for me, but it's pretty good. I mean, I want to see it. And then, out of the 3 of them, this is the one I'll probably see because this one's on, I think it's on Prime. Yeah, it's on Prime. So this is the one I can see because I have Prime. So I'll probably check it out, at least the first episode or so. So maybe this will be one that I review. But, you know, I have a lot of conflict of interest in this one. And definitely on top is Mobland. I mean, I don't see how this series could possibly go wrong with this cast. Tom Hardy is just one of his best movies. If you haven't seen it, it's called The Drop. It's friggin' phenomenal. I think it's James Gandolfini's last movie too. It's one of the best mom movies I've ever seen. So he's great in these kinds of roles. Pierce Bronson is always great. He's been doing more criminal turns. Um, and Helen Mirren's good. I think she's a little overexposed, but I could tolerate her in this because this takes place in, I think, England or Ireland. I think England. And all three of them belong there. Like, they're not being cast as Americans in America. Like, if they were all playing Italians in America, I'd be like, oh, no. But this fits them, and it's Guy Ritchie. Are you kidding me? How could I resist this? I mean, this is the show. Yeah, I want to see this show. For as much as I kind of like the concept of The Gentleman and the movie that Matthew McConaughey was in, it's not quite on point. It felt like they were doing a lot to explain why Matthew McConaughey is the head of the mob in England. The Gentleman's better with that concept, I think, but it's still a concept that seems unsustainable in a lot of ways. Mobland, I feel like just from seeing this trailer, that works. So this could go a while. I could see 5 seasons of this. Yeah, easy. Maybe 10. As long as they don't get trapped in the world of television. In the world of television, it would be like, after a while, like Pierce Bronson would lose his top position, but he wouldn't be killed, and Helen Mirren would get kicked out, and Tom Hardy would take over for a while, and then, some other guy would come in. Like, it's just moving the chairs around, not on the Titanic, but on a show. I hope we don't get that. I would like to see something that's, uber realistic would be people would die, and we don't want to see the cast members die, but it's interesting because all these people have movie careers. So will there be a lot of seasons of this? Will it be popular and then they have to go, oh, we got to pay these people money? Or is this sort of, well, we're going to do this and then we're done? It might be that. Which, in that case, I'm fine with that too, because then they could really go out in a blaze of glory. So, yeah. Sign me up, Mobland. All right. So that's 3 TV shows that, I might watch 2 of them. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site for more videos. Coming up tomorrow, I'll be at the Cape May County Library at 6 p.m. for my talk. This time I'm doing how to get published in South Jersey. So if you'd like to learn about that, I will, of course, bring all my books, but I'll be talking about publishing, telling stories behind the scenes kind of thing. Thursday night, I'll be on the American Werewolf podcast at 8 p.m., and I'll be talking about Gene Hackman movies. Then Friday and Saturday, I'll be at One More Bar and Grill for Gator Weekend. Oh, Gator Weekend. How I love Gator Weekend. And this is out on 206 in Chemung, New Jersey. One More Bar and Grill. And then finally on Sunday. Sunday is the ultimate. I will be at Lines in the Pines from 10 to 4 on my birthday. On my birthday. And that night I'll be doing the live stream. It'll probably be a little late because I'm going out for birthday dinner. So I hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.